Hey, how's it going? So today, I'm going to talk about some new tools that I got that I just found on Mystic's website as I was browsing through their tools and supplies section. And I've written down a bit of stuff here on my notepad about saving some money, basically buying in bulk when it comes to certain stamp supplies. This can be advantageous in just about all kinds of things, right? Buying in bulk, you of course get some kind of discount for purchasing a large amount of something, whatever it may be. That's pretty common stuff. But I've been working on my giant worldwide albums a lot, and I've been just dumping money into stamp mounts. If you guys are familiar, it's a big giant album. It's not a real stamp album, it's a journal that I'm basically making into a stamp album. So they're just blank pages, and I'm not hinging anything in there. Not a single stamp has been hinged. In this album, I am mounting everything. And so, buying mounts, excuse me, is expensive. Now, I've done the math already. I woke up early some other morning and did some math here for you guys, comparing buying single packs of mounts or buying them in bulk. And, without going into detail, which I will, at least right now I'm going to say these are probably like $8, $9 a pack on eBay or Amazon or wherever you go, depending on the size. And you can get them for definitely cheaper if you buy them in packs of 100. So I'll get into detail with that. But to start, I want to take a look at, I have got two new tools that... one of them I never even heard of before, which would be this pen. This is a Howard pen, and this is for sealing mounts. When I saw this, I just had to get it because I thought it was cool. So I've never actually used it yet. I just got it the other day, but it smells like some kind of adhesive sealer. And the point of this pen is... you put a stamp in a mount, and then you can run this pen along the top or the bottom of the open ends of the mount to seal it shut, so the stamp won't fall out when you turn the pages or any kind of stuff like that. So while I haven't found any major use for this yet, I want to do a first try with it just to see and just make sure that it seals the mounts right and it's not a total piece of crap. And then the next thing that I got would be this handy dandy guillotine. Now, most of you stamp collectors are probably already familiar with mount guillotines. These are for cutting your mounts. Nice clean cut. Now, scissors work just fine, but the truth is, inevitably, you'll find yourself cutting a mount with scissors and you do a crappy cut, or because the stamp maybe is embossed or something and it raises up the mount, you get like uneven, or let's say it cuts more into the clear instead of the black. Basically, you don't get a clean cut with scissors every time. It's like bearable to put in a nasty looking mount, but I put in enough at this point where I'm filling these giant pages with mounts and doing a lot of cutting. And I have to say, not every mount that I cut is crisp and clean and cut precisely. So it does kind of make it look a little shoddy in the album. It's minor stuff, but I notice it. I know the difference. As where, like, instead of cutting strips, if you get these pre-cut packs, right? These kind of starter packs. I mean, every one of these, as far as display goes, it just makes it look nicer. And nobody really is making an album and wanting it to look crappy or shoddy. You kind of want things to look nice. So I finally, decided to join the bandwagon of getting a guillotine. Anyways, I absolutely love the thing and have completely regretted not getting it a long time ago. But at least I have it now, and so anyways, I'm going to do a little demonstration of the guillotine, just in case any of you have never seen it before and are not sure whether or not it's worth it to you. We're going to check out this pen, and then I'm going to break down and show you some listings on eBay here. We're going to break down the comparisons of what I was paying for each individual pack of strips versus buying them in bulk, what kind of savings I actually see, and I'm going to talk about not only mounts, I'm going to talk about glassines, stock cards. I think that's it. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so let's try out this Guillotine here. Now I've got a completely random Albanian stamp here that I just pulled right out of the cabinet and put it in this 25mm strip. Well, this actually isn't a full-length strip. I've already cut one stamp out of here, but this is going to be a nice example for you guys to see what's going on here. So this guillotine, just like a paper cutter, it has a ledge here at the top for you to set your mount against and keep it straight while you cut. So besides that, it has this little holder. Now this thing does pop up at one end, and you'll notice the kind of half circles here. That's for you to hold down the stamp. So anyways, if you want, you can lift this all the way out and slide your strip under there. Now I usually don't. I usually leave it in there, and I just kind of pick it up a little bit and slide the mount strip under. Now, of course, I'm going to sight down the side of the cutter on the guillotine here to make sure that I have enough space that I'm not going to cut the stamp. Obviously, you won't want to. And then these little half moons, these are for you to hold down the strip. So it's a little holder, so it keeps it secure, and that way it won't move while you're cutting. So put it in there, hold down the holder. Now they do recommend a little bit of clockwise tension on this lever when you slap it down, so that it helps ensure a nice clean cut, and also it's a self-sharpening blade, so that kind of helps it maintain its sharpness. So just a little bit of finger tension clockwise, give it a cut. It's that easy, and you've got yourself a nice clean cut mount. That's a beautiful cut. Sometimes I can actually pull that off with scissors, actually a lot of the time, but I definitely do mess up. And the thing will be, it is just convenient. I mean, if you're mounting stamps on a regular basis, you're going to want to get one of these, especially if you're a collector and you intend on collecting, you know, for the foreseeable future. Consider this investment. I know it isn't the cheapest thing, but it makes a difference because it's just going to make them look better. And if you're using strips, you're just going to end up eventually kind of wishing you had it. Now, I will say this is a very small mount. Where this thing will really shine through is larger mounts. So this is actually a 215mm guillotine, right? It's a pretty big one. They come bigger, but this is like a decent sized guillotine. I can pretty much cut almost a full page mount on this thing. Now, the reason that I got this size, even though it's more expensive, is because I didn't want to get one that was too small and then later regret it and say, oh, I wish I got the bigger one, and then, you know, maybe even consider spending more money and buying a bigger one. I just wanted to get a big boy and then just kind of set it and forget it. Like I knew I would be set, you know. So that was my thought process on this. It does actually have a little, this is a paper clip symbol here, and this is, I guess, a little magnet. I don't actually use paper clips for almost anything, but I can tell you there is some kind of magnetic attraction there, so that's for storing or holding little metal things. Go figure. It does have a little handy dandy handle on it, not bad. I like that. And anyways, I am in love with this guillotine. I absolutely love this thing. It's completely worth the money. Like, I knew it immediately the very first mount that I cut that I was happy with this purchase. It's kind of hard to go wrong. So, anyways, even though this Albanian stamp doesn't really deserve a mount because it's in absolute garbage condition, and it's not valuable whatsoever, and I don't care about it at all, but anyways, we're going to use it as a demonstration for our mount sealing pen. So give me a sec here, let me get my camera in position, and we'll see if this pen is worth anything, if it actually works well or not. Okay, now this pen did not come with any directions. I haven't really tried to find any directions, but I understand, as far as I'm concerned, the idea behind it. You're going to shut your mount and try and seal it shut with this. So let's just see if it works. Or did Kyle waste his money? And with no directions, I'm not sure, should I paint it on? Should I stick it a little bit inside the flap? I don't really know. I don't even know if I'm supposed to have pressed down on the tip of it or anything. So I'm going to just kind of paint a little on there, hold it closed, and just see if it shut it. Well, I can tell you I can see a little stringiness coming off, like adhesive. And I do see, and you can probably see that little bit of adhesive kind of looking stuff there. So I do think that it's kind of just ready to go right out of the box. And as far as I can tell, it worked. Definitely shut it. So I'm going to kind of hold the flaps closed. And on this side, instead of sticking it in, I'm just going to paint it on the top. And we'll see if that will be enough to hold it together or not. I'm going to give it a sec. Maybe even a blow. I would prefer it if it didn't have to be kind of stuck in like I did on this side, because then you can see the adhesive, which makes it less enjoyable to look at, to be honest. So just painting it on the very edge, that's kind of what I had envisioned and was hoping would be reality. And it seems like it's working. Seems like it worked. So far, it does what it says that it do. So, yeah, now let me give it a little bend and see, does this pop open? Do the flaps come open? No, you guys, it totally worked. It's actually great. So, I guess that was just kind of regret sticking it in there a little, but on this end, but that's just the part of the learning process. That's why I make these videos, so that you guys can see what to do and what not to do. So don't stick the pen in there. Just run it along the edge, and it totally is working. Now, with, let's say, I'm not sure how I would feel about doing it through the actual seam on the back with the two flaps. My worry would be getting the adhesive on the actual stamp, but this is actually quite a worthless stamp, so let's just say I'm just going to, for fun, give it a shot. See if that'll work. And then basically we've created a completely sealed mount. And it's not super duper ooey gooey, which is something I like. It's not really coming off on me so much. You know, so this way you can have it extra protected. Well, I don't think I gave it enough time to dry here, but this is me literally learning as I'm going here. But I don't think it's necessary to seal the actual back. I mean, if you wanted the seam sealed on the back of the mount, then maybe you shouldn't use mounts. You should use sleeves or something, which is actually something I will talk about in this video. But I mean, I will say it's helping to keep the seams together. Like, they don't want to just pop apart too much, but that didn't really work so great. So anyways, I think it's really just the top and the bottom of the stamps, and you can see what to do, what not to do. Just paint it on the very edge, and even just painting on the edge, I can still see it a little, the adhesive, just a little tiny bit, but it worked. So anyways, I like that pen. I'm happy I got it already, because if I ever need or want to seal a mount, I can do that now. So that's cool. Nice little Hollywood pen. Go figure. Haven't researched if it's anywhere other than Mystic. I assume it is, but that's the only place that I've so far seen it, and I'm not really going to look anywhere else, because I'll just go there if I want another. And If you guys want to try and find it somewhere else, you can. But Mystic's got this bad boy. If this is something you may be interested in, it's out there, so now you know. So let's move on to the next thing. Next up, these gold-plated tongs. Now, I got these pretty early on. Why not, right? They're gold-plated. But these were like $15 or something. I think I actually got these on Amazon. No. I think I got these from Mystic, excuse me. These were actually the first set of 6-inch fine tip, pointed tip tongs that I got. I used the heck out of these. I think I built Grandpa's albums mostly with these. I actually quite like them, but I've decided never again will I get gold-plated tongs or any kind of plated tongs because you should get regular ones. And here's the reason why. Take a look at the tip. Now, you guys probably see that little flake that came off of the tip. You can see it on that side quite a bit. Several millimeters up here. I mean, it's probably 5 millimeters or something of plating has come off. Now, the problem with that is that it catches on things. As I rub my finger over it, of course you guys can't feel, but maybe you can even see, like, I don't know, it totally catches on my skin. It's kind of a sharp edge on the top of these tongs now, so that sucks. I've been unhappy with that since it began, and it's just gotten worse and worse. I have never had that happen with any of these other pairs, and it's probably because they're not plated with anything. So one of the biggest pet peeves of this is when you go to take these tongs, let's say you're going to slip them behind the plastic in a stock book or slip them in a stock card to grab the stamp. Basically, anytime I go to put them in anything, a glass scene, whatever, I feel it scraping and against the material, and I don't like that whatsoever. It's not a good feeling. It makes you feel sketchy when you're going to grab your expensive stamp out of your glass scene or stock card or something, and it's a kind of scratchy, scrapey feeling from these tongs because it's catching on the paper. That sucks. And so I've been utterly unimpressed since that began to happen. Was quite pleased with these to begin with, but I think the gimmick is not worth it. And I personally will never buy another pair. I'm just going to stick with these good old-fashioned ones, which seem to be out of stock freaking everywhere right now for some reason. Lucky for me, I actually did just find a pair on eBay. It was the last one the guy had in stock. I bought it. I actually use it at work. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that. That's something that crossed my mind because I had taken these to work and was using them in my free time when we get slow to dick around with stamps, and I remembered immediately why I stopped using them, and it's because the plating comes off. So heads up on that. Unless you're going to just like use them once in a blue moon just for show, I wouldn't buy them. If you're actually a collector who's quite active like me and using them consistently, like day after day after day, it's not worth the money. Plus, these ones are actually cheaper with the lack of the gold plating. So, just a thought. Alright, on to the next thing. Okay, so let's talk stamp mounts. So, I have here a pack of 39mm stamp mounts. Now, I've been buying individual packs. As you can tell, I have this nice little tub here. They're all ordered by size, and yeah, every single one of these is like, you know, $10 plus, like $8 to $10. The bigger mounts are definitely more than the smaller mounts. I mean, a pack of 25mm mount strips is probably only going to cost you like $6 or something like that. Not horrible, but yeah, these ones, these are more, these like 39mm, these are more like, you know, $8, $9, even 10 actually, I think, for this. And they just get more and more as they go. I mean, I think popping like, these are 57s, I might have been popping like $14, $15 a pack. Pretty ridiculous. Now, I didn't really do a lot of research, and I just knew I needed mount strips, and I bought them, and that was that. But I'm actually sad that I had bought all these fairly recently, before I decided to do a little research and use my head and just be like, is there any way to save money buying mounts? Because this adds up. I mean, just look at this tub of mounts here. I mean, this is, you know, easily like $100+. And especially for these bigger mounts, like these big boys, 68 millimeters, right? 61, oopsie, these are out of order. 74, 82, these are actually blocks. I'm not really going to count those. Those are for blocks. But these bigger mounts, these totally cost money. I mean, these 82s, I don't know, you know, $20+ or something for a pack of 10. I mean, geez, like, these big ones are expensive. But, yeah, all of them add up. So, I was trying to save money because, guys, I am just burning through these mounts, mounting complete sets of stamps in this giant album I'm making. You know, to fill these pages with mounted stamps is super expensive. And I'm sure some of you, when you saw that I was building that album, and one guy was like, how are you going to put them in there? I was like, I'm going to mount them. I bet he thought to himself and chuckled, like, you moron, you're going to spend a lot of money. I hope you're ready for that. I kind of knew it, you know, but after pages and pages and pages, it really is starting to kind of irk me a little. I've kind of been like stewing this underlying feeling of like, I really am paying too much for these mounts, and there's got to be a cheaper way to buy these and mount stamps in my album. And all I'm trying to do is mount stamps and display them in an album. And at $10 a pack, I mean, that sucks. It's really expensive. Especially, I mean, I have the money and I can, you know, I'm willing to spend the money. I just, you know, I don't really want to. And, you know, if you were like retired and you didn't want to blow hundreds of dollars on mounts and individual packs, there's a better way. So buying them in bulk. Yeah, basically the other morning I woke up early and just started researching, and I figured out, why don't I buy them in bulk? I had an epiphany, basically. I was like, bing! I bet you they're cheaper if I just buy them in bulk, and that's absolutely true. I just don't know why I didn't consider that earlier, and I wanted to mention it. So let's talk about this specifically. This is what I did the price comparison on. 39 millimeter strips, okay? They come in strips, packs of 15 strips. So I was paying $10.08 per pack of 15, and I was buying them on eBay and Amazon, kind of intermingling, between the two, whoever had available stock, whichever had a better price. I was just kind of jumping back and forth. So $10.08 for 15 of them. Well, on eBay, I'll show you this listing here. I'll put this up on the screen. You can get 100 bulk packaged Hollywood stamp mount strips for $22 US. Now, this seller happens to be over in like Great Britain or something, so it takes a while for them to show up. But you're totally going to save money. And out of everything I'm going to talk about, mounts, glassines, stock cards, the mounts buying in bulk was easily the most significant savings. It truly is real savings buying mount strips in bulk. So now I'm paying on this listing $22 for 100 of them, compared to $10 for a pack of 15, right? Pretty easily can do the math in your head. I mean, I'm clearly saving money. Now, I broke it down. I was actually paying 67 cents a strip in these 15 strip packs. Whereas if I buy them in bulk, even though there's $3.38 shipping, so I'm really end up paying $25.38 for a bulk pack of 100, that actually still brings it down to 25 cents a strip. Now that's 62.7% savings, guys. That's practically 63% cheaper buying them in bulk packs of 100. More than half. Yeah, that's great. Like, I was so glad when I figured that out. I was just like, man, I'm going to make a video about this, let them know. Because I've just been blowing money on these mounts. And any kind of savings is great. I didn't really expect to have such significant savings, but that's fantastic. So any of you guys out there that are like, hey, I'm a stamp collector, I'm going to be mounting things, for years to come, buy mount strips in bulk. For the love of God, don't buy these individual packs. You're throwing your money away, guys. So this is totally worthwhile. buying them in bulk. I mean, gosh, I was just, I'm going to save a lot of money from this point on because I'm going to do that. So really consider that, you guys. Now, even though the rest of these items that I'm going to talk about don't have as significant savings, it's still savings buying in bulk. So I just want to break it down for you. The next thing I want to talk about is Vario 8S pages. So let me grab one and we'll have a chat about that. Okay, so Vario pages, right? Most collectors are familiar already. They come in varying sizes. You can get, 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 7, 8, right? So these are 8S pages. There's 8 rows per side of the page, and they happen to be double-sided, these black pages. Now, you can save money buying in bulk with these Vario pages too, if these are what you use to build your albums. Now, I had been buying these in the past, usually in packs of 25 per page, or 25 packs of pages. So, now, those actually run about, I'll show you this listing here, $26, at least on eBay, and that's a pretty common price about for what a 25 pack of these go. Now, $26 for 25 pages, that's $1.04 a page. Okay, not horrible. You can actually house quite a bit of stamps on this double-sided page, but yeah, it's not the cheapest thing ever. Now, in comparison, I'm going to show you this 100 Lighthouse Vario 8S listing. So, you end up, it's got free shipping. Okay, so $71.94 for 100 of these pages. So that mathematically comes down to $71 per page. So this is going to save you, about 30 cents a page, which isn't a whole lot. It's kind of chump change to some people, but again, if you're going to buy a lot of these pages, it'll all add up. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my U.S. stock books, but actually let me pull one out just to show you, just for fun, so that you can kind of comprehend why that would add up. I mean, look at this stock book. And this is just one. I have like 4 of these. Yeah, that adds up, guys. There's like hundreds of pages in here, and 30 cents savings a page or so totally adds up. It just saves me money. Now, I'm kind of done with these stock books, and I'm not going to build any more like this. But I was buying packs of 100 to fill these stock books up. So, yeah, it just totally translated into real, actual savings for me. And I don't know if I saved hundreds of dollars, but I definitely saved money buying packs of 100, building these big, ridiculous stock books. And, same if you were going to build just a really big album with a whole bunch of pages. I mean, yeah, you'll be surprised, if you are a hardcore collector and you really spend a lot of time putting stamps in albums, like I was, it gets expensive, and so ultimately, I thought it was worth mentioning as well. Yeah, buy bulk of Vario pages. It'll save you some money too. Not as significant as the mounts, but ultimately savings is savings. So next, I'm going to actually talk about glassines. So let's move on to that. Okay, so glassines. Now, I have no idea what size this is, but just wanted to show you. So you can buy these in, of course, varying size packs. You can get packs of freaking 10, 5 if you want. It's really a small amount, all the way up to 1,000 or more, right? Well, I would, in the past, be buying them in packs of 100. Now, I'll show you this listing for a pack of 100 glassines. These happen to be size number 4 in this listing. For $10.49. Now, they have free shipping, so that's the total you'll pay. A little bit of tax on top, but whatever. So basically $10.50 a pack for a pack of 100, number 4 glassines. Well, that actually comes down to 10 cents a glassine, pretty much. So not horrible. Glassines are pretty cheap overall, right, guys? Well, ultimately, if you want to save a little with glassines, you can. And if you know you're going to use a lot of them, then it's worth it. And so they have this listing here for 1,000 glassines for the same size, number 4. Now they're $64.94, so practically $65 with free shipping. Now those actually come down to about 6 cents a glassine. So it's almost half, which isn't bad, right? I mean, 6 cents compared to 10 cents. Well, if you're going to be blowing through glassines and using them a lot, it does add up. And it's a little bit of cents here we're talking about. I don't want to sound super cheap, because I'm not. But ultimately, I just wanted to do a comparison on these things so that you can see, yeah, just like everything else, you buy it in bulk, it's going to save you a little bit. I mean, that's like 40% savings. That's not bad, right? And if you know you're going to use a lot of them, it might be worth it, you know? So consider that. And now, the next thing that I want to talk about is stock cards. So let's move on to stock cards. Okie dokie. So I got probably my all-time favorite size and style of stock card, this 107B Hecko stock card. I like the black background, helps the stamps stand out. I like the 107 size. It fits an awful lot of different stamps in a 107. They come bigger, they come smaller, right? But I have, for some reason, ended up with this 107B as just kind of being my go-to standard size for stock card. Now, you can buy these just like anything else, small packs, big packs. I was buying them in packs of 100 at some point, and then I switched to buying them in packs of 1,000. I actually bought a pack of 1,000 and haven't even had to buy another pack since. And I still have probably a couple of hundred left. It's been like 2 years. So I don't blow through these so fast, thankfully. But so let me pull up this listing here and show you. This is a listing for 100 Hecko dealer stock cards. Now this listing isn't 107Bs. This is just a listing that I pulled up to do a comparison, so I just wanted to mention the 107s. But this is for 104B size stock cards. And so these are $6.83 per pack of 100. So I will say also, there is shipping on top of that. So owie, it really comes to $11.39 for a pack of 100 of these stock cards. At least on this eBay listing. Now, that's 11 cents a card, practically. So, again, not horrible. I mean, this is pretty cheap. You know, these are cheap things to store stamps. I like overall, to begin with, that they're not even that expensive, period. But, in comparison, if you were to buy, instead of a pack of 100, you buy a pack of 1,000. Here's this listing, $79.97. Right, free shipping, so practically $80. That comes out to about 8 cents a card. So, minor savings. Very minor on stock cards. Almost no real significant benefit, but ultimately it saves you a few cents, right? So, but that's per card. So, 3 cents a card, 100 cards, that's 300 cents, that's $3, whatever. I mean, it all adds up at the end of the day. Especially when you're buying all of this different stuff like me. I buy all these things, that I've mentioned, and all of these little savings will all add up into actual savings over time for sure. So, yeah, stock cards, less significant than the other ones, but yeah, just like anything else, buy in bulk, save some money. So, I just wanted to do that comparison to show you guys. Yeah, glassine stock cards, not really that big of a difference, but some savings for sure. And but yeah, mounts, wow, major savings. Now, next thing that I want to talk about is I just want to mention they have these assorted packs of stamp sleeve holders, right? Now, you can get these sleeves in all kinds of different sizes, big, small, I mean, whatever you want, medium, they're all in between. There's a ton of different listings out there, and this is just one that I've pulled up. I mean, 800 pieces of different stamp sleeves for $12.63. I mean, that's pretty cheap. That's cheaper than anything. These stamp sleeves, I think, are like the cheapest thing that you could probably ever put your stamps in. But I find mount strips just to be more to my liking. It's something that I like the way they look in albums, and I don't want to have to bother slipping each stamp into its own sleeve and then somehow adhering it to the album page. Excuse me, I just don't want to bother with that. Whereas that's part of the benefit of mount strips. It's already got the adhesive, you're just ready to go. You slip them in there, easy peasy, wet the strip, put it on the page. It just makes life easy. and they have the black background to help the stamp stand out on the album page, whereas these sleeves really just serve the purpose, in my opinion, of just simply being a protective casing for the stamp. I have absolutely bought lots of different stamps that have come in these sleeves, and I always wondered where people got them, what they were. Not a bad option. I mean, for 800 mounts, under $13. I mean, that's cheap, guys. That's real cheap. I didn't do the math on this one, but ultimately, I can just tell you, obviously, that's super duper cheap. And they're crystal clear. You can see through them. So something to consider. I just wanted to bring that up, mention that, put that out there. Yeah, I mean, there's such a thing called stamp sleeves, and if you wanted to go that route, that's probably the cheapest thing that you could ever do to protect your stamps, is use sleeves in these assorted packs. It's just not the route I want to take, but it's an option out there available for you guys, so I wanted to let you know about it. And anyways, the next thing that I want to talk about is this color guide here on Mystic. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry. Wonder color guide for postage stamps. So, yeah, it's got little holes on the cards for you to put the card on top of your stamp and compare it to 4 different colors at once. I think that that's pretty sweet. The colors at the edge of the cards, I assume you just put the card over the half of the stamp to do that comparison. Yeah, the little holes, that's convenient. And so if you're wondering what color your issue is, you're really struggling, you have bad eyesight, whatever, bad lighting, I mean, these will at least help you have more confidence when you're identifying your stamps as far as what color they can be. Because, boy, it can really be a tedious thing sometimes trying to discern between the different colors. You say, oh my gosh, like plum versus like dark purple, I mean, what's the difference, and like that kind of stuff. It can be a pain in the butt. At least it has been for me in the past. So I thought this was a brilliant thing. I actually didn't buy this yet, but I am gonna. And I was looking around on the internet just to say there are other gauges out there, and I didn't find a whole lot on the internet as far as color gauges, but they're out there. I saw different ones. Anyways, this is the one that I'm probably going to buy because it's just right here at Mystic. Home team here in the U.S. I'm just going to buy this. Simple, easy, and yeah, that was another worthwhile thing I thought I wanted to mention. Now, I think that the next thing I'm going to talk about is heptane. So let me grab my heptane and let me have a little chat with you guys about that. So, the heptane that I buy is actually Bestine, right? Bestine is the brand, heptane is the chemical. Heptane will help you take your self-adhesive postage stamps off of covers and envelope pieces so that you can have your stamps separated. Now, I put it in its own little eyedropper. I think I've mentioned this in the past on some other video. Now, I want to say that I was kind of preparing myself for, at some point I'm going to dive into my grandpa's last bit of stamps that he left me, which are actually just a big bag of on-paper stamps, and I'm going to need to remove them from certain paper pieces, so I'm going to end up using heptane to do so. Now, what crossed my mind was, what is a safe surface to do this on? For one thing, you don't want to get it on your hands, so wear gloves. And for another thing, I don't want to do it on my nice leather desktopper. So I was researching what I should do this kind of stuff on top of, what plastic or rubber, silicone can withstand heptane. So let me show you what I found. Well, I'll show you this chart that I found here on the internet where it tells you, what certain plastics and materials are resistant to certain other chemicals. Well, on this chart, you scroll on down to heptane or hexane, and there's actually quite a few things that are resistant to heptane. But one of them, it turns out, just so happens to be polypropylene, which is what these little bags are that I actually sell my grab bags in, and all kinds of other stuff. I love these polypropylene bags. As I think I mentioned before in another video too, that they are supposedly as like chemically stable as plastic can get. And so they're archival safe. And polypropylene bags are crystal clear. They're awesome, cheap. They're wonderful things. So turns out this is actually chemically resistant to heptane. So I can just grab one of my polypropylene bags. I think what I'm actually going to do is cut one open and splay it open so that I can have just a nice surface of polypropylene to do this work on. I just don't want to ruin my nice desk topper. So I'm going to get a nice pair of gloves and spread one of these open on my desk. And when I do get into my grandpa's self-adhesive stamps, and if I want to remove any, that's how I'm going to do it. Just so that you guys are aware, if you've never used heptane, it actually is not good to breathe. This stuff does evaporate. It can cause like nerve damage and stuff, so you kind of don't want to do it in like some tight enclosed room like I'm in, go figure. But I'll just open the door, put a fan, whatever. But and I have used it in the past. It does work pretty well. And normally what I would do, there's actually videos out there showing this already, but just so you guys would know, basically you're going to take your stamp on your paper piece, you're going to turn over to the back of the paper. You don't want to put the stuff on the front of the stamp, you want to put it on the paper itself, and drop it onto the back of the paper. I kind of like to do an outline. I saw a guy in a video do that. He did an outline border of the stamp to begin with, and then he just kind of dropped some heptane on the center, let it soak for a few seconds, not even that long really, like 10 seconds it'll soak, and then you literally can take your stamp tongs and just peel the self-adhesive stamp off the paper. And the nice thing about Bestine or heptane is it leaves the gum on the back of the stamp too, which is pretty cool. Some people don't like that, and they'll actually end up trying to scrape the gum off the back because they want it to have that true used stamp kind of feel and appearance with no gum. But personally, why not have the gum? I don't care if it has gum or not, if it's a used stamp. And I kind of like that it has the gum. That way you can still see it. And so I think that that's cool that heptane allows you to remove self-adhesive stamps with the gum still intact on the back of the stamp. So anyways, I do believe that that was it for this video. Yeah, I don't have anything else on my little paper pad here, so that'll finish it for today. I hope some of you guys found this information useful or interesting. Ultimately, this is just stuff that I was researching myself just for my own knowledge, and I just figured, hey, why not share this with you guys? You know, the money-saving tips with buying in bulk, you know, what's a safe surface to use heptane on, the color chart, you know, my problems with the gold stamp tongs, that glue pen for sealing stamp mounts. Yeah, I mean, I just found all this interesting. This is all news to me, and so I wanted to share it all. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos. It does help me out. I appreciate it. And I'll be back next week with something else. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another video this weekend. I might, because there's really no stamps in this video. But still, this is educational and good stuff. So anyways, take care. Bye.